Well, hello, my people. Trying to quick fix up some of these guardlings I got going. And hello, Commodore. I know the question has been raised. We have not changed the starting time yet. I am still contemplating that. I need to go back and retouch it up in white. We are painting up some guard. Getting ready the new guard book to officially drop. Couple things, again, because I do my guys mostly in contrast. Mantis Warriors Green by itself is super bright. I don't like it, but with a wash of strong tone over the top of it, it turns into a very nice military green. So that is what I am doing. I apologize now ahead of time for this cough. I have this COVID cough that I am really not. Hello, I am the color green. Yeah, no, this green is super effing bright. I mean, I like it. If I was going with like a bright lime green, because when you look at it in the pot and you look at the way it's supposed to be, it looks like it's supposed to be like this dark green, this dark military green, but I mean, it's really not. It's a very bright, like almost like a lime green. I don't hate it because again, with strong tone over it, it just immediately comes to the right tone. But imagine my surprise the first time I put that shit on a figure was like, well, that is not what we were going for. But it's still, like I said, the thing I like about Guard is that because the troops are so many, there's so many troops, so many figures. Um, Running a super simple scheme in base tones. And then just dropping a few layers of contrast on it. Just doing a few contrasts and then going in with a highly pigmented a very highly pigmented wash like Army Painter Strong Tone, and you end up with some pretty cool effects, especially when you take and add a couple different layers of different contrasts because the new contrasts kind of layer really nicely. If you water them down a little bit, they work like a pretty good filter. So when you're trying to do something that you got to paint, you know, 30 or 40 of the damn things, um, doing them in multiple layers of contrast that are watered down, it works out really well. It's like, again, really strong washes. Um, it'll work out. My God, Commodore, you abandoned me. Oh, you abandoned me. Fine. Go away, Commodore. You you bastard. I know it. I see how it is now. I understand. Ugh. Mr. Karaskio, good to see you. You too, hell child. Don't think I missed you there. I saw you. I saw you. So as we lean into the last Tuesday of the year. I don't think I used the Agros. I think I used Snakebite. Yeah, I did. Uh, as we're going into the last show of the year, I figure we do a talk about what do we want to try and do, what I would like to try and do for the upcoming year. Talk about our plans, talk about what we want out of the Gamecraft Dragon as a channel over the next year. So, let's just come right out of the gate. One of the big things that I really want to have coming out this coming year, one of the big things I'd really like to do is I'd actually like to get some battle reports, not just talk about them, but actually get some battle reports done and actually do a few battle reports on the channel, team up with a couple other creators or a couple other of my local community and push some 40K content. Tina Raven, good to see you as well. One of the other things I'd really, really like to push this year, I very much want to make sure that we don't neglect Age of Sigmar and get some more Age of Sigmar content. And to help push that, for certain this year in 2023, I am going to be promoting it for a bit coming into it, but for November, I will be pushing No Bolter November. So I will try and push one or two actually Age of Sigmar battle reports in November and try to focus the content in November on some Age of Sigmar content. I also would very much like to not make it that's the only month we talk about Age of Sigmar. So I'm going to try and push for more throughout the year. Maybe do some painting tutorials on some of the army that I'm working on. Um, and maybe just talk about some gameplay. I really have been enjoying playing Age of Sigmar. As it is, I'm going to be trying to make the Eye of the Dragon happen in 2023. So, actually, try to get some organized play up and going, and get some tournament playing. If I can't get that done, if nothing else, one of my big goals is to get an escalation league starting next month. I figured out I'm going to be running it on Wednesdays because that's the day I currently have open. Um, so I'll have to work it out with the other players and see if they can manage it. But I definitely think Wednesdays is a doable day to do an escalation league. I completely screwed that up. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. I like the new guard figures, but at the same time, they're a lot more fiddly. They're a lot more true scale. Um, Master Fish, good to see you. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I don't want to just stick with 40K. I mean, I know my big focus is 40K, but I want to get some kill team involved. I definitely want to talk more about kill team as the year goes through. I want to get some Warcry up and going, and kind of get that more out there. I don't think Warcry gets enough attention. I think it's a really good game, and I don't think it gets enough attention. It's a very fun game. If you haven't played it, it's worth it. I mean, small unit tactics. It's a solid game. It's very enjoyable. Um, so yeah, there's just a lot of I want to expand to the world of Warhammer, like more Age of Sigmar, more Warcry, not just 40K. Talk more about Kill Team. Um, Sit down and talk with some more creators. Sit down and talk with some more non-YouTube creators. Um, Talk to some people I know that are players. Now that I'm part of a gaming team, um, being able to go to events and kind of report on them and see how the overall event went, as well as my experience there. Um, Kind of the that sort of experience. That's interesting. I mean, I had no complaint about the prize support that I've ever had for any game. Um, from GW official. I mean, I've got a couple of medals in the case because of it. Um, the big thing is I want to focus on store support. Like, I think smaller stores, local stores, small business, local business. I think giving them some love and some support and some shout outs out there. As you can see in the new thumbnail, I not only have the IDIC beer wargaming group, I also now have the Warp Storm logo out there. Those are the two groups I am involved with, Warp Storm being the gaming team I'm with, and there's a couple other channels um, that are involved with it. Skynox being the one I can think of off the top of my head, but and I know we're going to be pushing some events. We'll be working with some other teams. Exciting news coming up on that front. We'll be working with some other teams. A lot of it will be working with Tundra Tactics. I want to get their viewpoints on some things too, because these guys are some good players. But I know I'm going to have some opportunities as the year goes by to meet a couple other big names in the sport, including a chance to meet some of the guys from Art of War. And I want to spend some time picking their brains, getting some of their ideas as well. So, like I said, I think 2023 is going to be a year where we kind of focus in on let's play the damn game. Um, oh, I apologize. Back to work. Holidays have been a deal, and I've been cutting down on my caffeine intake to try and get something remotely to a normal sleep schedule. Um, but is what it is. So a little yawny here and there. Still recovering from that COVID. You might hear the scratchiness in my voice. Um, I've been coughing. Um, um, been a good Christmas. Quick thing here. I'm a member of a group called Faith in Damnation. They're basically a group of guys that just talk about the hobby on Facebook. And we do like monthly painting contests, and we share each other we basically we're a bunch of guys that try to push each other to do better at the hobby, and give everybody in the group motivation to do more, and give them their claps up when they do well, and either well painting or painting or playing or whatever. Faith and Damnation. It's a great little group, and they did a Secret Santa exchange, and my buddy got me. My partner got me a Broke Your Iron Master. So I'm actually really excited about that. That's going to go really well with the rest of my League of Votan force that I'm slowly building. Guard are going to be probably my primary army coming in this coming year. Probably, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when the new data slate comes down, the new balance data slate. We've already got some leaks on it, and the leaks were significant enough that somebody was fired from a team they were on that had early access to the leaks. So it kind of confirms that they are kind of real. And that's kind of a big deal because those leaks are pretty crazy. Armor of Contempt is going away for everything and everybody. Yeah, so pretty much what we got confirmed. Armor of Contempt is going away. Let's see what are the other big ones. Harlequins are getting nerfed from a 4-up to a 5-up invuln, and they're getting hit with point costs again. Tower being slapped again with a point cost increase to their crisis suits, and a cost increase to Kroot. They're just literally trying to make it so the freaking tower unplayable. Their points are just not playable. It's just crazy how much they have just nerfed the holy shit out of them. Hey, we're 50% win rate. You need nerfs. Jesus. Yeah, flyers are going to be starting off board, meaning as reserve units, they don't come in until round 2. That's going to be Oh, that's gonna be huge. That's a massive hit to them because that was, I mean, the big thing people were using those planes to do, especially with the Tau planes, they're running two in and then bombing the crap out of stuff. And anyone that had bombers has been using those, basically using that for an alpha strike capability. Well, now they're taking that away. You don't get flyers around one. So people will be able to use, and again, with a flyer coming in on round two, um, those come in at the end of the movement phase. So they're going to land. Where they're going to drop, they're not going to move. So realistically, if you bring aircraft, they're not moving across the board until turn 3. That's really interesting. It's really interesting. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna do that. I honestly think they're gonna take that. I think they're gonna take that restriction off of flyers. That they're limited to only having 2 flyers in a whole army. I think they're gonna honestly, with as heavy as they're nerfing flyers, meaning that they're starting in reserve. That means they don't come until turn 2. They don't move until turn 3. I think they're gonna let you take your standard 3s. The problem is that I honestly don't see. I think that's going to absolutely destroy anybody using flyers in their army, and it sucks because I think flyers are really cool, and it. But I'm not a guy who's going to go out and get like 4 flyers or anything like that. I just think, okay, we're just going to make flyers almost not usable, and then we'll see if that works. And uh, I don't like that rule, honestly. I don't like the rule, but as somebody who's been alpha striked by Tau bombers a couple times, I understand why they're doing it. But it just, I don't know. I don't know. I think it'd be easier if you want to make planes more viable. I think rather than making it so they just fly over things and do mortal wounds, turn the bomb racks into a weapon that has to target. It fires while you're going over, but you still got to roll to hit and roll to wound. And then people can make armor saves to it. I think this absolute need for all these different ways to generate mortal wounds is what's a big problem in the game right now. I don't like it. I really don't. I don't like it at all. I really don't. I think it's just really crappy. I think because the thing is they're just doing it to all flyers when the reality is what they're trying to do is they're trying to deal with honestly the Tau bomber problem. The Tau bomber and the other I think the orcs have a bomber as well. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to deal with the bomber issue. And by dealing with the bomber issue in this manner, they're kind of overcorrecting. Oh, big surprise. GW's overcorrecting. Um, what are the things they say? That we're gonna Marines are gonna see a massive point drop across the board. Um, Plasma inceptors, the double plasma jumping dudes, flight dudes. I think they're dropping to 40 points a figure, they said. So that'll be massive. That's a massive point drop on those guys. Because I think they were like 60 points, maybe. And that doesn't even go into this new Arc of Omen detachment list. It's going to be interesting to see when we get the full details out. But I mean, there's a lot of things that are confirmed. Custodians are basically going to be untouched. Tyranids got nerfed. Tau got nerfed. Harlequins got beat down with a stick, dragged in the back alley, and smashed again, which I don't have a problem with. Yeah, and then you got, they're going to make Marines cheaper by also making equipment like free. So I think we're going to see shades of what they did with the Guard Codex. I think we're going to see that start leaking into all the different armies. And I like that. I actually like that idea. Because the more and more I read on the Guard Codex, the more I really like the way the Guard seem like they're going to play now. So much to the point where I dug out those metal Adelan riders. I've got them built and primed. We're going to start getting these riders up and going. I got 20 of them. I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a lot of gear on squads go down in cost or go to free cost. I think the min-maxing of a single piece of equipment on an army, I think those days are past. I think you got to look at an army for what the army does on a whole, and that's where it needs to be looked at. So we'll see. Power claws, power fists, power hammers. It'll be interesting to see. It will be very interesting to see how they do it. I mean, honestly, if they get rid of the cost for equipment, suddenly my Thunderwolves become an extremely cheap unit. So I'm becoming very cheap because I'm not paying for shields and I'm not paying for the hammers. And I think that's 25 points per model right there. Armor of Contempt was really good for Marines, but it made people that weren't wolves much more viable. The wolves use thunder shields like everywhere. So Armor of Contempt not stacking with thunder shields or storm shields, you didn't see really any impact on the wolves, and the wolves just kind of dropped in usage and had a lot of units that don't use storm shields come up. I think with the removal of Armor of Contempt, the wolves are going to go back to being a high survivability army, and I think we're going to see the wolves come back. You add that along with the point drops. I think the wolves are gonna. I think it's going to jump them up. A lot of people are saying from that list, they're thinking guard and marine are going to quickly shuffle into top tier. I'm really looking forward to see what that does to the Dark Angel Deathwing list. The all Terminators. It's like what 32 Terminators. I think that's going to be an interesting list because those guys are just going to be immovable. The changes to Death Guard, where all Terminators now have OBSEC. Take 3 squads of Poxwalkers as your troop slots, and then just run Terminators, or even now, I mean, gosh, it's crazy. There's so many possibilities for Death Guard. I'm looking forward to see what they do now they got rid of Armor Contempt. I'm also looking forward to see what they do with indirect fire. How are they going to work that out? It's been interesting reading the rules on how turrets are going to work now. because you'll be able to take a tank and fight other people that even when you're in base to base. Like I'm in base to base with you, and we're engaged in melee, and I can fire all my non-turret weapons at you, and I can take my turret weapon and fire it at somebody over there, and that's an interesting boost, especially for things like the Rogel Dorn, where the Rogel Dorn is running around with two turret weapons, or even three turret weapons. I think there's one layout where they get a third turret weapon. So that'll be interesting to see as well. It also makes you wonder if that turret weapon rule is going to work its way down into other armies with tanks. Say the Sisters Castigator, all of the Primaris hover tanks that have turrets, the Predator, Chaos Predator, obviously. Now, the flip side is that like something like the Plague Crawler doesn't have a turret, so obviously it shouldn't get the turret rule. But again, it's gonna be interesting to see how that all works out. And I think this is again the design philosophy that they're going forward with when as we move towards 10th edition. My gosh, guys, I am just fading here. This is crazy. Um, hmm, mm, mm, mm. I'm looking forward to what's going to come up in this new year. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of change right off the bat in January. And I, as a channel, I want to roll with those changes. I want to be able to talk more about tactics and talk more about the changes and talk more about the meta. And at the same time, still be accessible. So I talk about other games as well. So, um, I don't think June. I think August is more realistic. But I definitely think we're seeing. I think if they're going to do a Dominion type box or a Indominus Crusade type box for this coming edition, I think we're going to see that probably in July, and then see the official edition drop in August. I've heard rumors that the new edition is going to have a ball battle zone or something that's going to have something to do with ball. Obviously, since it's going to be focusing on the new threat, which is the Tyranids. And for the first time in a while, I think it was in seventh. So eighth and ninth, we had in Ultramarines. The word is in that for 10th, we're going to see the return of a non Ultramarine. We're going to see the Blood Angels be the foremost and the front runners in the lore when that's going on. Really interesting. I'm kind of sick of Blood Angels, to be honest, but everybody knows that I'm not a big fan of them, and I'd really much rather see my wolves get some love and attention. But I'm biased. I love my wolves. I'm not crazy about the Blood Angels. But given that the amount of fiction they've done for them recently, including the Angels of Death TV series, um, we'll see. I think it's going to be Tyranids because they're the one line of figures that's been the ongoing rumor. That's going to be the Tyranids. They've got a huge number of figures that need rework. They've got a huge number of old figures. They're pretty much the oldest line on a whole out there, so they're going to be getting the rework. Um, it's going to be weird because it means it's going to be a starter set that I'm probably not going to buy, or if I do buy, I'm going to split it with a Tyranid player because I have no interest in Tyranids. They're one of the armies that aesthetically I like them, but I just don't want that army. They're too much. They're just too much for me. Oh man, we are fading hard today. What is going on here, Big D? Um, mm, whew. um, what else we have going on? Well, like I said, we were painting, and we're pretty much past that hump for now. Um, some of the figures I've picked up on a couple swaps, got a couple touch ups done to them, and this one just had a couple pieces that hadn't been attached properly put on there. Didn't have either a bolt or a flame or anything there. This whole turret was just in pieces. Still missed a couple things, but the ammo cans on the sides, but it's not really noticeable. It's a nice paint job. I'm going to use this as a baseline for how I paint um, some of my other figures. I have a bunch of the Talon Desert Raiders I'm going to paint up in that scheme. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. But again, you're not going to see a complete walk away from what they have as an aesthetic. Um, I think we're going to see things like the little guys. We're going to see the older kits. So Gene Stealers and um, the Gaunts, the Hormagaunts, the Termagants. I think we're going to see them get a new kit. Um, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do because, like, I mean, they're going to do to them what they did to the Necrons. They're just going to completely revamp them. Same thing they did with the Death Guard. So, um, quick thing here. Um, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, January will be an interesting month between the data slate coming down and LVO kind of closing out the year and starting up the Arc of Omen season. Um, I think we'll see. I think we're going to see some major changes over the next couple of months. Oh God, guys, I think I am going to have to close out early again today. I'm getting over this cold, and for whatever reason, and I am just not able to kind of keep it together today. I'm all over the place, wandering around, and not able to get formative thought here. I have a script that I can't even keep to my script tonight. So, um, I think the holiday time will be some good time off. I think everybody needs to take some time off. Um, Warp Storm this week is going to have a bunch of events going on. So if you're in town, heading over to Warp Storm for the holidays, I'd suggest doing it. They're going to do like some organized plays, some events and whatnot. And they're over on 60th and Layton on the south side of Milwaukee. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more leaks and a lot more releases, just like the Azrael passing the Rubicon figure that got shown off on Christmas. I think we'll see some updates. So, yeah, I'm gonna wrap up for the night. Wish y'all have a happy New Year and a really happy holidays. I hope everything's going well for you. And I think we're going to close out the year and just kind of take some time and come back in January kind of rested and reflecting on the upcoming year. I'm going to be talking to people up at Warp Storm. I may be moving the Taco Tuesday back to its original time, so back to the 7:30 to 9 time slot. Just because with my new work hours, this later slot, it's kind of tiring. Like I said, I'm sitting here at 9 o'clock and I'm fading hard. So y'all take care. We have enjoyed this wonderful 2022 with all of you, and we look forward to seeing all of you in 2023. I'm Big D, and stay epic.